Pre-season is finally here for the Potters, and with that, we've got 6 games before our opening championship game against Coventry on August the 10th. So let's have a look at the 6 games Stoke have got. The first game of the pre-season for the Potters sees us travel to Chester to take on the National League North side. Now, what a game it is for these young academy players who, before Stoke go on their travels to Ireland to take on Cork City, it's a great way of allowing them to be within the first team and potentially get their chance to maybe say, you know what, this is what I can bring to the table. Hopefully, I can have more involvement during this pre-season. So hopefully today we see quite a range of academy players involved within the side, and for me, I feel like Schumacher is that manager that will give that opportunity. Now, we know we've got quite a lot of academy players that have a lot of potential. Your likes of Sol Sidibe, Emre Tezgal, Nathan Lowe, the list goes on in all fairness, and we've already seen that quite a number of them are training with the first team. So hopefully today, when the team gets announced and when obviously they play 2 probably separate teams for the first and second half, we are able to see a couple more of the academy boys before we obviously have new additions into the side that Schumacher and the club feel needs to be added to this squad. An opening game for this pre-season is a good one against the National League North side, and hopefully we see quite a number of these academy players having their chance to shine. Following on from that, on Saturday the 13th of July, sees the Potters travel to Ireland for a second year, where we did it in 2022 for a week-long camp, which sees us play against Cork City. Now, last time in 2022, under Michael O'Neill, we played Cork City, and it was a 2-0 win, which saw DiMaggio, Wright Phillips and Jacob Brown both score, both players who aren't obviously at the club anymore, which it definitely shows how in the past 2 years, it's a total different Stoke side. Now, of course, we've had a manager in between Michael O'Neill and Steven Schumacher, but also how the squad's totally different. Now, I couldn't count how many different players there were that we had then that are obviously still here now, but the likes of course, Josh Luan, Lewis Baker, Jordan Thompson, Emre Tezgal, only a number of players that were there last time out 2 years ago. Much changed squad that are going to Ireland for the game against Cork City on Wednesday. But yeah, it's just so interesting to see how Stoke has changed. You obviously look at the 2 squads and you compare the 2. I feel like we have so much more talent now than we did back in 2022, but that is the training camp. That is where they are going for this pre-season against Cork City. Let's move on to the 3 away games that Stoke have. So up first in the 3 away fixtures that I've just mentioned is we travel to Crewe Alexandra, now the League 2 side, who of course failed to win their playoff final and reach the League 1, but you know what, a very, very good side. Of course, in pre-season, it's not about the result, it's about getting the fitness and seeing what players are like and which players are clearly going to have a big role during this season. I feel like following the Irish camp, that when they go away for a week, I feel like Schumacher will start to kind of understand, you know what, these players maybe aren't going to have a future at the club. I don't know, I'm not too sure. He might feel that all the players that are in the squad definitely aren't going to go anywhere, but that kind of very rarely happens. But against Crewe, now another one that we played in pre-season in 2021 this time, now a year before, still with Michael O'Neill in charge, but we had the likes of Mario Vrancic in there as well, Stephen Fletcher, who got 2 goals in a 3-2 win is what it was. But a real interesting one again, another one where it'll get quite a few fans going, and it's just a good insight into how the team will play and what kind of players will look to play a big role during the season. Then on the 27th of July, Stoke travel to Stockport to take on Stockport County, which is another close contested game, a team that will be very, very good. Obviously got promoted to League One unlike Crewe did, but it's been released by the club that there's an initial allocation of 900 tickets, but as well, it's 2 60-minute halves, so it looks to be that, of course, one starting a lineup will play that full 60 minutes, and then a completely different starting lineup will then play that second half. I think we'll get a sense of who Schumacher is really enjoying. I feel we already know that there's quite a number of players that will play a massive role next season, but it's about how will the players that maybe last season didn't fully reach their potential, how will they then do? And I feel like it's an exciting time at Stoke. I feel like Schumacher is going to have a real good time, and it'll be interesting to see how we mix in kind of the players that are looking to stake a claim in the squad compared to the players that we'll bring in. And I feel like the business we've already done this season, as in terms of the 3 new signings, has been real quality. And then in the last away game of this pre-season tour is to Bolton, which is another League One side. So it really does show that we're going for that bit of, right, let's put ourselves in and amongst teams that will be fighting to be in the Championship in the coming season. Now, of course, before we've played against Premier League opposition, and it's given us a real good idea as to how the team's done. But before, when we played against Villa, they had a team that played both against Stoke and elsewhere, so it was a total mixed team. So in a way, you don't really get that full quality of a Premier League side. 3 of the away fixtures that will be a real tough test, but it's not about the results. It really isn't. It's about getting that fitness up. But Schumacher will really know who, in a way, is fighting to be at the club and who doesn't want their position to be filled by someone coming into the club during this summer. And then finally, the return of an absolute legend for this home game, for the first and last home game of the pre-season. It's, of course, the return of Bruno Martins-Indy. What a player that man was. You look at centre-backs that we've had at the club, and yes, we've had loads of quality there, but Bruno Martins-Indy, what a player he was. He did not take any business from anyone. That's a man that fought for the badge, was a fantastic player when he was there, and had some great partnerships with some great players. Of course, Ryan Shawcross, him and Martins-Indy at the back was a very strong defence. And him on the 3rd of August returning to Stoke with his team AZ Alkmaar. I think that's how you say his name. If I butchered another name again, I give up. I think I need to start learning lessons. But yeah, it definitely is going to be a real tough tie. We always have a last pre-season game at home against a real tough side, and Stoke have done it again, and it's good to see. We're getting that kind of true reality of where the team is at and what kind of new additions we need before that opening game against Coventry. So a real interesting one. 6 pre-season games that are going to be tough, but let's all remember that the result doesn't really matter. Yes, we all want to win and see goals, and of course the people that are going to Ireland, hopefully they see loads of goals and have a great time. It'll be interesting to see how we do during the pre-season, as well as how we kind of implement new signings with the old ones that we've got. A real interesting one. I hope you guys enjoyed, and until then, I'll see you guys next time.